Dawncraft transforms Minecraft into a RPG mod pack, which adds new enemies, dungeons, and character questlines. I'll be going on an adventure to see all this new world has to offer and fight any enemy in my way. Will I survive? Let's find out. When spawning in, I had to choose my class. I went with Tank because it had great health and the roll skill. I talked to this little guy called the Korok, who told me I had been chosen to save this land from evil. The evil in this land corrupted the Ender Dragon, so I have to go on a quest to collect 12 mystical eyes and save this world from chaos. The Korok told me to visit a guild master located at a village, who would get me started on my first quest. So I set sail to find the guild master. After making the boat, I immediately set sail. It took a while, but I arrived at the village. I found the guild master and had to spam the bell to get his attention. The first quest was to raid the pillagers and to defeat at least 10 of them. If I did this quest, I would be worthy enough to go on official missions. Would you like to take on your first quest? Sure. So I began preparation for the pillager raid immediately. I stole some of the loot from the campsite near the village, but I had to be careful I wasn't spotted because in this mod pack, villagers react to things you do. After roaming around the whole day, nighttime was here, and things took a turn for the worse. Oh no. A horde of mobs charged after me, but the villager came to protect me. Oh no! I didn't mean to hit you. I was fighting the mobs alongside them, but accidentally hit one of the guards. The villager named Bert challenged me to a duel, and I don't know what type of villagers these are, but he was too strong. Bert took me down with minimal effort. After respawning, I fought a spider and a strange creature, but then a skilled zombie showed up using magic. Magic? The rough night was over, so it was time to turn things around. I started trouble with another villager, traded with one named Jordan, and after a whole day of villager nonsense, I set sail for the pillager camp. Trying to find the pillager camp at nighttime was obviously a bad idea, but I did it anyways. Oh! What is that? A ton of hostile mobs attacked me, even before I arrived at the camp. I made it to the pillager camp and wasted no time. I clashed blades with the first pillager that challenged me, taking him down easily. The pillagers were weak, but the mob spawning made things much harder. I was surrounded by all sorts of enemies. There were too many of them, so I died that night. I learned from my mistakes and rushed into the camp during the daytime. And just as I thought, it was much easier this time since I could just focus on the pillagers. I took down enough pillagers and the raid quest was complete. I freed the villagers being held captive, collected the pillager loot, read their journal, and apparently they were sent here on a scouting mission to find the labyrinth by the evoker. The information would probably be useful later on, so I took the journal and went back to the village. The guild master was proud of my achievements and said I was well prepared to receive the next quest on my grand adventure. My next quest was to take on the Goblin King, a fierce tyrant whose castle is said to have impenetrable walls. To prepare for this quest, I was going to need a training arc because this was going to be like nothing I've ever faced before. I found a shrine in the village that could upgrade my total stamina, using these orbs I got from my last quest. With my total stamina upgraded, I went to go exploring. I found this ogre that looked manageable, but I was no match.
It was at this moment that he knew.
Then there was this pirate ship that would have good loot since you know pirates like treasure and all. So I snuck in from the bottom of the ship and challenged the entire crew. Wow. Now all that's left is the pirate captain. And there we go. After beating the captain, I looted the ship, but it didn't really have much. I made my way back to the land and found these two survivors living in the forest. They let me stay the night since I was far from home, which was nice of them. There was a dungeon near the house I was staying at, and it looked pretty interesting. I made my way down and found a variety of different enemies. Is that a baby creeper? I defeated a horde of skeletons and looted all of the chests on that floor. I had a feeling things would get much harder at lower floors, but I was feeling a bit greedy. I was right about the difficulty because I got attacked by this strange enemy that came out of nowhere. What the? I tried fighting it, but it held me in place and it did weird things. I was terrified of what was going on and tried making a run for it. It was no use and I died from its magic attack. Even though the exploration ended in defeat, I still had a ton of new loot. With enough food and armor, I thought it was time to go slay the Goblin King. He was pretty far away though, so I made a few traveling items. I crafted a paraglider using sticks and leather, Then using leather and string I made a backpack. The backpack was fairly easy to make and had a ton of inventory space too. With everything complete, it was time to go to the Goblin King's castle. The glider made travel easy and it was fun at the same time. While gliding, I found a random house in the middle of nowhere.
What was this?
I found this random guy called Jormungandr that wanted to teach me how to brew potions. I didn't have any emeralds on me though, so I'll probably do that another time. I also found this weird flying squid.
What even are you?
And in the distance, I saw another village up ahead. When I landed, I found that the villagers had ancient Greece clothing, and it's honestly the best village design I've ever seen. I was halfway to the Goblin King's castle, and the sun was setting, so that means some mysterious enemies would start spawning. I made my way to a nearby village to avoid the chaos of the night. Morning came and it was now the final stretch. I made my way down the river and the trip was now complete. I arrived at the kingdom and saw his health bar, so I knew I was at the right place. And immediately, before I could even settle down, I got shot by a goblin archer. I found one of the goblin warriors taking on 3 villagers and an iron golem, all at the same time.
What is going on here?
I was a bit concerned because why are the tiny goblins soloing the whole village? I took one down myself and it called for reinforcements. Before I went inside to take on the king, I wanted to rally the villagers but they seemed busy. Thinking I didn't need them, I rushed into the castle to take on the goblin army myself.
Nope.
But little did I know the dirty tricks the goblins would use. I opened the chest for loot, but it came at a price.
Is that a mimic? No way they got mimic.
I fought more goblins, but too many of them kept coming at me left and right. But I was at 1 heart and I had to make a run for it. I jumped off the roof and escaped with my paraglider. I was foolish to think I could beat them alone. And after relentless preparation, turns out I was no match for the goblin army. The guildmaster told me things wouldn't be easy. I thought brute strength would be enough for me to take on the goblins, but I need some sort of plan. The goblin castle had a main gate that was blocked off by wood, and one entrance that was open in the middle. So I'm going to get to one of the towers and swoop in using my paraglider. I got in, but I wasn't expecting to find all of the goblins in one place. I did some damage, but there were too many of them. So I fought the Goblin King myself on his throne, and he got extremely low. But when he got to low HP, he just ran away. Then I realized I was looking at things the wrong way. I wanted to do things myself, but what if I got the villagers to help me, specifically the golems? I broke the wooden gate from the front and just let the golem in, and he got straight to work. Then one of the Goblin King's disciples decided to rebel against his own king. And with the power of new alliances, strategy, and a bit of treachery, the Goblin King was defeated. I took the Goblin King's crown, collected the emeralds off his throne, and went to his treasure room that had even more gold and a chest. Now, with the Goblin King defeated, I can move on to the next quest. The hardest enemy I'd faced yet, the corrupted ogre, a holder of one of the 12 mystical eyes I need to collect. The journey to the ogre would be even longer than the one to the Goblin King, so before I went, I had to do a few more things. A werewolf invaded the village and rushed at me.
Oh no!
But luckily the villagers helped me fight it and we defeated it. I explored a few more dungeons too and I started to get a bit frustrated.
Well, why doesn't...
Anyways, I went back and defeated the little guy, so I had access to the loot. In the chest I found this magic scroll that rained arrows from the sky, but I was sad to learn it came at a cost.
But we could only use the scroll once?
After collecting all of the loot, I defeated all of the enemies there and left for the next dungeon. But then I ran into a huge problem.
Oh no. Oh no! Oh!
This big bird called the griffin attacked me. I ran into the village castle to hide, went up the stairs, and I was able to avoid the monster for now. The next location was a strange ancient tower. I climbed up using dirt, and on the top floor I was expecting a horde of strong enemies, but to my surprise it was a calm environment. There was a strong looking dude in the middle, but he was pretty chill. I simply broke the mob spawners and collected the loot, which gave me golden apples, diamonds, and unique weapons. Using those diamonds I made armor, which I believe is the best armor I could get at the moment. There was one more location I wanted to visit before traveling, and the location is a giant mushroom. I climbed up, broke the mob spawners, and looted all of the chests. I got a katana from Elden Ring, which was pretty cool. I also got a ton of other useful items like golden apples. I stared into the moon because I knew it was going to be my last peaceful night, because tomorrow my treacherous journey to slay the corrupted ogre was going to begin. So for a brief moment I wanted to enjoy the quiet night. I said goodbye to all of the villagers and set sail. And I kid you not even 2 minutes into the trip, I found this.
Lord of Sorcery? He has to be up there.
I found a village in the middle of the ocean for travelers like myself. And around the area, there was a strange gothic church that got my attention. And of course it did, because when I was nearby, I found a familiar enemy.
This is straight out of Bloodborne.
Yeah, this boss was literally from another game. He's on a whole other level compared to my current self, and he chased me out of the church. I climbed up the Moonlight Valley, and a few minutes later, I found an igloo to rest and catch my breath. I was exhausted from my journey and was hoping the rest would be easy. I arrived at the frozen ocean, which I needed to cross to reach the ogre.
Is that a killer whale? Have to be careful.
It seems I didn't take my own advice because...
Oh! What is that?
I'm surrounded by monsters, but I can't give up now. In the winter forest, I found a structure I could stay the night in since it was too dangerous outside. I stayed there the whole night, and as soon as I was going down the stairs, I had a few friends waiting for me.
Of course. Nope.
And finally, after all of this time, in the winter forest, there it was, the base of the corrupted ogre. Such a relentless expedition, I almost didn't make it. Countless nights spent in terror, dozens of enemies slain, rivals and alliances made, all for this moment, all to defeat the corrupted ogre.